Welcome to the session 37, that is Industrial Policy 1991 and its objectives and merits and demerits of Industrial Policy 1991. First, we know study the learning objective of this study is to know the Industrial Policy 1991 and its impact through its objectives, merits and demerits. After studying this session, the students will be clearly understand the Industrial Policy 1991, its establishments, objectives and merits and demerits of this Industrial Policy 1991. It is one of the new industrial policy existed with the removal of problem and changes of past industrial policies. First, what is Industrial Policy 1991 with its objectives? On 24th July 1991, the government headed by Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao announced a new industrial policy which sought to drastically alter the industrial scenario in our country. There are several fundamental departures in the new industrial policy. The most important initiatives are with respect to the virtual scrapping of industrial licensing and registration policies on end monopoly law and a more welcoming approach for foreign investments apart from redefining the role of the public sector. These measures, long overdue, are welcome as they would free the industry from regulations, most of which have outlived their utility. The various objectives of this new industrial policy includes first one, self-reliance, to build on the many-sided gains already made. So main objective is to give self-reliance to build on the many-sided gains already made. The reliance is given or importance is given to build many-sided gains to the industries. Next is to encouragement to Indian entrepreneurship, promotion of productivity and employment generation. As discussed in earlier resolutions of industrial policy, here also an encouragement to Indian entrepreneurship by giving various loans and as well as short-term as well as long-term loans and capital formation with liberalization of industries and as well as giving much importance to the private sector and as well as public sector participation. Coordination with the public and private is it is possible to encouragement of Indian entrepreneurship and promotion of high productivity and employment generation by giving special priority to balanced industrial development as well as balanced regional development with the social justice and societal well-being with the society by using scarce resources which are available in the country, and effective utilization of this is possible through Indian entrepreneurship in small scale sector as well as in giving employment to the rural people through the village industries. Next objective is to development of indigenous technology through greater investment in R&D, research and development, and bringing new technology to help Indian manufacturing units to attain world standard. Here in this policy, much more importance is given to development of modern technology through greater investment in research and development. So it will give more priority because to reduce the technology importation as well as to reduce the burden of old technology and cost of reducing the cost of industrial development with adoption of modernized technology. So Indian manufacturing units will attain world standard of technology in this with the support and help of the new industrial policy 1991. Various technology developmental programs will having and gaining much more importance in this policy resolution. Next is removing the regulatory system and other weakness. Removing of various regulations on industries by freeing certain industries with certain restrictions and free licensing policy as well as tax rebates etc. programs will be introduced for development of Indian industrial sector. Increasing the competitiveness of industries for the benefit of the common man. By increasing the fair competition among the Indian industries, it will create competitiveness to grow much more level to compete with the foreign industries as well as multinational corporations to enter global market. For this fair competitions among the local or national or regional industries is very essential to uplift the normal common industries in the society as well as to increase its competitiveness. Various schemes and developmental programs which are introduced in this policy. Next objectives is to incentives for the industrialization of backward areas. Some industries are concentrate on city areas or urban areas. So various incentive programs which are introduced for the industrialization in backward areas, especially rural industrial development is much given much more importance in this era with the industrial policy 1991 resolutions. Next is to enhanced support to the small scale sectors. Enhanced support will be given to the small scale sector with the village and cottage industrial development programs and increasing the employment opportunities to the village sector with the small scale industrial developmental programs, and as well as rural employment programs have to be introduced with certain schemes. And next objective is to ensure running of public sector undertakings on business line and to cut their losses. For ensuring public sector undertakings on business line and cut their losses, various schemes, programs and procedures have to be implemented in this new industrial policy. Protect the interest of the workers. Various trade union programs and labor laws and labor protectional activities have to be implemented in this new industrial policy. Worker welfare measures, labor welfare measures, human resource practices, etc., health and safety measures, and all are introduced in this new industrial policy. Next objective is to abolish the monopoly of any sector in any field of the manufacture except on strategic or security grounds. Last objective is to link Indian economy to the global market so that we acquire the ability to pay for its imports and to make less dependent on aid. Here, the aim is to link Indian economy to the global market because seeing the world as a single market is the concept of globalization. So, Indian industries are gained much more importance to develop various industrial activities up to the worldwide activities and worldwide markets, increase the Indian business up to the world marketization. So these are all the objectives of new industrial policy 1991. Next, merits of the new industrial policy 1991. The 1991 policy statement is truly historic, whether it is the results of International Monetary Fund pressure or our own realization that the time has come to open up the economy. The changes was long overdue, need to be welcomed as a bold initiative aimed at making Indian industry more competitive internally as well as internationally, and at freeing the industry from needless and irksome controls, most of which have outlived their utility. The delicensing of a host industries and the abolition of all registration schemes will free Indian entrepreneurs from the need to make endless trip to New Delhi. They can now concentrate on their business and move quickly to seize business opportunities. The scrapping of any asset threshold or market share prescription for the definition of an MRTP company, and a dominant undertaking allows companies to go ahead with investment programs without delay. The liberalization of the rules relating to direct foreign investment, permitting 51% equity in a wide range of industries, the easier facilitation of foreign technology agreements, and other related measures go a long way in attracting foreign investment and technology. Reforms relating to the public sector like privatization and transferring of sick units to BIFR will help improve the performance of the government undertaking. Last advantage is finally the new policy statement is a most welcome package. There is a greater reliance on the market, a bold attempt at deregulation, a desire to integrate with the world economy and to modernize. Next, limitations of 1991 policy. Even though having much importance and merits, it has certain limitations. That is, virtual scrapping of licensing means absence of a mechanism to determine priorities and to develop backward areas. The policy is silent about tackling the growing industrial sickness. The government has not announced a clear exit policy for sick units. Clearly, the government seems to have yielded to pressure of trade union lobby. Offloading of 20% equity in profit-making public sector units to mutual funds is a revenue-raising exercise than genuine attempt at privatization. Even with the scrapping of all regulations, the expected foreign investment may not come through. Infrastructural deficiencies will deter foreign investment. The policy is drafted at the behest of IMF, which means virtual surrender of economics sovereignty of the country to a foreign agency. These are all the limitations of New Industrial Policy 1991. So, this session will clearly about tells that New Industrial Policy 1991, its existence and its purpose or objectives for its existence, and the merits of and demerits of this new industrial policies, or merits and limitations of this new industrial policy will be clearly discussed in this session.